So, good afternoon, welcome back. Hope all are awake and energetic. So, now, session 6. So, we have with us Mr. Drumil Shah, Cloud Security Specialist, Hewlett Packard Enterprise. So, sir will be covering the power of generative AI in data security. So, let me introduce Drumil Shah. Drumil Shah is Cloud Security Specialist and working with Hewlett Packard Enterprise. He is having more than 17 years of experience in cybersecurity. His expertise is in the application of network security. He is helping the organization in making their product more secure by implementing process, techniques, and standards as part of secure development lifecycle. He has published several papers on different topics related to cybersecurity. He was part of a jury panel for Government of India initiatives like Kavach, that is Cybersecurity Hackathon. So we are very fortunate to have Sir with us today for this faculty development program. On behalf of Vivekananda Institute of Technology and organizing team, we welcome you, sir. So over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope I'm audible to all of you. I could not hear you after lunch. Okay. Thank you, Vidya ma'am, for introducing. So today's topic that we have is power of Gen AI in data security. So I wanted to keep this particular session interactive. So feel free to ask questions wherever you want. Stop me wherever you need any support or help or guidance. And then it's kind of a feel free to open up and then speak something whatever I ask, and that will help me in driving the entire presentation so that you'll be able to learn more. That's the main goal for this entire agenda. So these are the things that we are going to cover as a part of the overall session. What is the data security, overview of Gen AI, you might be knowing that, but I'll just cover quickly. Then data security in SSDLC. So SSDLC is kind of a secure development lifecycle processes. Then how you can use the data security or usage of data security in the security operations, and then implication and then Q&A. That is what we are going to cover as a part of the agenda. If you want to cover anything else, you have something in mind, feel free to add that so that we can cover as a part of the overall chapter. So this is the fun facts about me, who am I. So favorite drink is tea, and it is accompanied by snacks, then I love it. The favorite color is black, which I am wearing today also. Then favorite places to visit is beaches and hills that I like to visit. The favorite time pass, you will be kind of a surprise by looking into that. The fixing electronic things, although I am from the IT background, but I like to play with the circuits and learn the new things within the devices, gadgets. So whenever new device comes to my house, I used to open it up, look into that, and sometimes it gets wasted for me. I'll not be able to recover it back. So that's another data security breach that you can think of, the data recovery. You can reach me on the LinkedIn. Drumil Sisha is the handle. You can reach out to me if you need any help or anything. Now, hope these fonts are visible to you, or should I zoom in? So these are the recent data breaches that happened in our country. So this is specific to the India. When COVID came, at that time Government of India has created an application for COVID vaccination and support, checking of the hospital availability and all. At that point of time, over 81 crore Indians civilian record got leaked out, and that was available as a part of the dark web. Now you can think of what this particular data mean to the attacker or the hacker. What will be the misuse that they can do. And it is not the production environment, it was a taste data. It was not the actual citizen data, but it is a taste data, looked like a citizen data. Out of them, 80% of the data was actual data of the citizens. The next one is the personal data of 750 million Indians through operator. We all use the mobile phone. Any connection, Geo, Vodafone, any connection that we use, and all our data related to the KYC, including the biometrics of our Aadhaar, is available with all these telecom operators. How they are securing it, how they are using it, we don't know, and that's where this breach happened. The next one is boat. Everybody we use the headphones of boat, right? So personal data leak of 7.5 million boat customers. Whenever you want to onboard any device, first step what you need to do? Registration process. Right? You register, you provide your email address, you provide your phone number, and then your phone will be able to talk to your Bluetooth device or any other connected devices. And that's what the data is all about. It's all customer data that got leaked out. The next one is Aadhaar. Everybody trusts Aadhaar, right? Left, right, and center. Everybody talks about Aadhaar. When you go to the bank, they will ask, okay, give me your Aadhaar card. When you go to the operator, telephone operator, they will say, okay, give me the Aadhaar card. If you want to go to the government hospital, they will ask, okay, give me Aadhaar card. If you want any government benefit, they will ask for the Aadhaar card. So Aadhaar data is very crucial, and it is your identity. If identity get leaked out, what can happen? So that is what they are talking about. The personal information of 115 million Indians got leaked out. All this information is available in the dark web. Do you know what is the dark web? Dark web? Sorry? No, it's not a web browser. It is a portal or the, hope I am audible. It's a kind of a portal where you can find lot of data related to the leaked data, specific country data, or specific individual data. You can find all the information in the dark web. And there are sellers who sell this particular data at some money. If you give some money, they will give you the data. That is what is, if you go and ask for the credit card data, you will be able to find that. I'll show you one of the browser. Let me connect one minute. So these data breaches I have shown you, right? There is a website, interesting website, where you can find all the data breaches across the globe. Depending on the year, you can filter it out. Depending on the industry, for example, banking sector, health sector, like that, you can find it out.
Even they hack websites that they demand for the money.
Yeah, that is called as ransomware. Yes. It's a bit slow.
Which one you use?
I connected to my So there is a portal called Information is Beautiful. So these are the world's biggest data breaches and hacks. And you can select the year, in which year it was happened, and what was the size. You can see Indian Railways, records, customer records stolen, username, emails, phone numbers, gender, city, state. If you have this information, what you can do? For an individual, if you have this information, what all things that you can do?
I can sell the data for the others.
You can sell the data to others, then blackmail them. Now, if you just think that this particular data is of my girlfriend, what I will do? Huh? Or if I want to screw somebody, if I have this information, I can do that thing. You might be receiving these calls, right? We are calling from the telecom industry. Press 1 to continue a connection, otherwise the connection will lose in another 4 hours. Another interesting thing you might have received is we have received a parcel from the international, and it is with the custom department. Press 1 to continue and receive your parcel. If you press 1, they will ask you the information and they will try to ask for money. They will send you the QR code, you pay the money, and then that money is gone. So those kind of hacks are happening these days across India. Now you can filter it out also based on the finance or application or whatever you want. Military data, lost devices, insider job, and it keeps on updating. So you will get the latest information from this particular portal. Recently, you might have heard about the LinkedIn. Have you heard about this? This is just 4 days ago. Suspends AI data processing in UK amid privacy concerns raised by ICO. Why in Europe, not in India? What is the reason behind that? There is a specific regulatory requirement in Europe. You know that? The GDPR, have you heard about? GDPR is a regulation committee within the European region where they mandate that all the European citizen data must reside within European region only. You can't take European region, civilian data outside of European region. That is the GDPR requirement. And that is one of the reasons why they are stopping all this AI data processing. Because the processing happens in the different country, the data is residing in Europe. Okay. Now, what do you mean by data? Information. Process data is information, right? Then what is data? What do you mean by data? It's a bulk of content available for you on which you can process something and gather some kind of information. That is what the data pool is or the data is. And in the new terminology, it is called as a new oil. Data is a new oil. If you have that data, you can control the world. Before going into the other topics, we'll take the example. What you see here. So I have a house. There is a guy sitting just beside my house under the tree with a laptop. Now, if I ask you, if I want to find what all the issue can be possible within the home. So, if just take your example and identify at home what are the things that you take care of from the security perspective. We'll list it down. So whenever you are staying at home, what are the things that you will take care from the security perspective? Wi-Fi password, man. What else? CCTV. Then CCTV. Then CCTV. Then what else? Think about the physical security also. Or take the example of when you come to college. Hello. When you come to college, there will be a security gate, right? Security will check for what? Your ID. Whether you are wearing the ID or not. If you are not wearing, then what they will do? They won't allow. If still you want to come to the college, what you will do? What you will do? You will get some kind of approval, right, from the HOD or somebody. Then and then you will be allowed to come into the college. At the same time, back at home, what we will have? If you are staying in the kind of a gated community, we will have a main gate. Okay. At the night, you will lock that gate, right? You will not keep it open. Then the next step is your main door. You have main door, you have windows. There will be a multiple doors in your home if you are not staying in the standalone apartment. In standalone apartment, you will have only one entrance. But if you are a standalone house like this, you will have multiple points to come into the house. Back gate, front gate, balcony, windows, chimney, right? All these different places from where thieves can come in. Now, you are securing all these things for what? What is the fear behind all this security? What do you want to prevent by attacker from? Sorry? Theft of what? Data. You are not storing any data at your home, right? Or you are storing jewelry there. Then money, jewelry. What? Laptops, all valuables. That is what you are trying to secure from. Now, what this particular guy is sitting and doing it? All our devices these days are connected to internet. Be it your TV, mobile, refrigerator, air conditioner, light bulb, Alexa. Most of us will have Alexa, right? If I am on a video call and somebody tells Alexa, my Alexa wakes up and starts to listening something. Why is it so? It should identify my voice, right? It should not identify anybody else's voice. So all the devices are connected and it is connected to a single endpoint which is called Wi-Fi. How I am securing my Wi-Fi? Password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Then Wi-Fi security, there will be a multiple type of a WPA2, WEP, all these kind of different algorithms that you have, which ensures that your Wi-Fi devices are connecting your devices to securely over the channel. Now you just think about this particular guy who is trying to do. What is trying to do there? He is trying to capture the Wi-Fi connections or the data that is going between your Wi-Fi router and your device. Okay? Will you be able to capture it or not? Whatever is going between the Wi-Fi router and device, I will be able to capture. Now just think that I am not part of that Wi-Fi. I am not connected to the Wi-Fi device. Will I be able to capture that data or not? You have to trap it, right? So there are multiple softwares available or the hardware available through which you can crack the Wi-Fi. So one of the name is internet. So using those kind of devices, you will be able to crack anybody's Wi-Fi network, which is illegal, but those devices you will not find in India. Using that, you will be able to capture all the information about your devices. You will be able to control your Alexa devices. You will be able to control lights, air conditioners, ovens, stoves, heaters, everything. Whatever is connected to my Wi-Fi, I will be able to connect. Now, just think about if I have control of all these devices as an attacker, what I will be able to make a damage to you as an individual. You can install the malware. What else you can do? Another approach that I want to bring in is you are using your mobile device. Using your mobile device, you are connecting to everything, right? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, banking accounts, Google Drive where you are storing your photos. Everything, whatever you are doing will be captured and that information will be used for the targeted attacks. Nowadays, you might have heard about the targeted marketing. So whenever you walk into the bank, for example, they will introduce by your name. Okay, welcome Mr. Drumil, how I can help you. Those kind of a virtual assistants are there. They will capture your face and based on your face, they will identify, okay, this is a customer and I will introduce with this particular name. Those kind of a targeted marketing is already available in the industry. What addition you can do with that? If I have all this data, I can impersonate Drumil. I can create a new Drumil and make people fool. Right? End goal of an attacker or a hacker is what? They want money, they want fame. Whatever they are doing for these two things, mostly money or fame. Right? So this is one of the examples that I wanted to bring in, and therefore we will be able to understand what exactly data security is all about. Going back, as I mentioned, it's a new oil. Fuel prices are increasing. 10 years ago it was 60, now it is 100. And your oil is needed for everything, to run electricity, to run vehicles, for the transportation or everything. Over a period of time, once the electric devices come in, the battery operated devices will come in using the nuclear energy, there will not be any oil usage requirement. And that's where the data will become a new oil, where it will be able to control entire world. If you think about the war scenario, right? Why United States of America is not targeting any countries like Iran, Iraq and other things, other countries. What is the reason? Because those are the main source of energy for them. And they don't want to stop that particular flow. Why we need a security of data? We already talked about, right? I wanted to secure myself such that nobody else can impersonate me. Make help of all this data to make other people fool. For example, if I go to school to pick my daughter, if some other Drumil goes there with some kind of identity, what will happen to my kid? Correct? So that's why the data is more important, which will be able to identify what all your choices are, what all your thoughts are. For example, I'll take Instagram. Nowadays there is a craze within the younger generation that everything, whatever you do, you will put it into the Instagram story or the thing. Okay? There are few algorithms available in the industry which will scan all your Instagram profile. It will try to identify what exactly you are trying to achieve, what are your thoughts are, what are your mindset are, and that will be sold to particular people who are interested in making you food. Okay? And that is why the data security is important. We are talking about the data classification. Anybody knows what is classification? Data classification. What is data classification? As an individual, for me, what is the most important thing that I will take care of? If I have a mobile device, I will ensure that nobody sees my passcode. If somebody takes my Instagram profile, I am fine. What they will be able to do? They will be able to only see some of the content. And that too only if I make it public. Right? There are multiple options available in Instagram where you can make your profile public, private. It will be only visible to your friend list. There is a kind of invitation based, right? So for me, my passport is most important thing. What else? My photos is important thing, correct? Videos, which contains my personal belongings or data, correct? So in the industry, there are multiple levels of the data classification. That is called as a critical, high, medium, low. So I need to define what is a critical data for me, what is a high severity data for me. In other words, if you write the documents, in the documents you have multiple areas, confidential, top secret, available to all public, private, only for limited audience. Something like that you might have seen as a part of the paper or somewhere. That is called as a data classification. And that data classification is one kind of a compliance requirement or regulation to restrict the misuse of this data. If the private document goes out in public, what can happen? Right? What is a personalized versus privacy? Privacy and personalization. Do you know anything? Privacy is what privacy is and what personalization is. Okay. Okay. Personalization.
Some information is there.
Hmm.
Some information is not for you. You can tailor it to according to someone's need also.
Okay. So the personalization and privacy will differ based on the scenario. So privacy is anything about me is a privacy. Now, what personalization is? It tells something about me. Not all. It tells me something about me. And privacy is it will be completely information about women. That is what the privacy is. Right? Now, if I give the example of privacy, whenever you go to any of the website, there will be on the registration page, you are signing some kind of agreement. What is that agreement? Most of the time, we will select and click continue. We don't even care to read that agreement. Most of the time, and that is the saying that OK button is just to press OK. That is what is happening. We are not reading anything, but it has lot of things. If you take the example of Facebook, they have the policy saying that whatever the photos that you upload, they can use for the marketing purpose. Do you know that? That is what you have agreed for. One day you might be surprised that one of the Facebook page your photo will be available there for marketing purpose. And that is what the privacy laws are. And that is what is privacy is. The personalized example is once you log in Facebook, you will have multiple pages which is personalized for you. For example, I am looking into the reels specific to Karnataka. I will be able to keep on getting the feeds for the Karnataka. That is what the algorithm is behind, which works and tells the algorithm that okay, Rumil is interested in this kind of a content. So I push all those kind of a content only. That is what the personalization is all about. Now, who secures it? We have data. Who secures it? Security experts or security experts? You, me, who? Who will be responsible for the data security? Everybody, right? And that is why in the security, there is a two words, you and I. So security is incomplete without you and I. So it's everybody's responsibility to secure data. Now the steps will how we can secure it. There are multiple cases. So one of the examples that we have taken for that our home and all, right? That is called the data in transit. Whenever the data is moving from one place to another place, be it on a Wi-Fi, be it on a wire, or through a post. In older days, we used to send a letter to our beloved friends and family during the occasion. If somebody opens that, what will you find? There was a digital media at that point of time earlier, that was almost 10-15 years ago. That is what the data in transit. And that used to happen that your data will not reach to the destination. Before that only, it will get misplaced. Or somebody is using it. I'll tell you one of the examples that I have gone through. So it was kind of the beginning of my career and I was very much interested in the credit cards. If some banks offers credit card, I'll go and take that. So that was the mindset that I had. So I opted for one of the credit card. Before the credit card reaches to my home, it got swiped for 20,000 rupees. What should I have done at that point of time? Card is not reached to me, it is still in transit. I haven't got any notification saying that your card is sent to your registered address or anything like that. But still the card got swiped for 20,000 rupees. I'm talking about 2007, 2008 time frame. So that's why the data is important. Before the parcel reaches, nowadays for the delivery they will ask for the OTP. Can you share the OTP? Then and then they will confirm that your parcel is delivered successfully. Right? For any of the financial document, for example, you are applying for the card, right? Debit card. Once the debit card will come, and in another mechanism, your PIN will come. It will not come with the same code. Card will come by a speed post, and the PIN number will come by a private company. Why is it so? I am reducing the risk such that if somebody knows that speed post guys knows that okay, this guy, I have delivered the card to this guy. Once the PIN comes, I take that PIN and use it. But I am choosing the other company as a policy of the bank. They are choosing the other company to deliver the PIN number. So I am reducing the risk by segregating all this. What about the data at rest? What is data at rest? In the storage, data in storage. I have a hard disk, I have storage devices, in the mobile I have a memory card, then I am uploading my data to cloud. Wherever my data can stay, that is called as the data at rest. What is the implication in this scenario from the data security perspective? I am copying all this data into the hard disk, portable hard disk. If my friend gets the portable hard disk, what will happen? They will be able to access everything, copy all the files, important files. I'll take the example. I have created as a college project, that was an interesting research that I have done and kept it on the hard disk. And I wanted to ensure that it is not exist to any other student. But in some scenario, they got access to my hard disk and they will have access to all the content, including POC, because I am using the hard disk for the backup. What about in memory? In memory data. Data sending to the processing. When in the process, whenever any computation is happening, and that is what is all about in AI. AI is all about processing, how your data is getting processed, how the different algorithms get into that particular data and try to infer the knowledge out of it. Correct? Now, there was an example in the mobile devices. So, I was part of the coverage, which was a hackathon. And one of the problem statement that given to the students was, they wanted to capture the memory snapshot of that device without connecting or touching the laptop. how they can do that. So one of the team came with the interesting admin kit. They will just plug into your USB port and entire dump of your computer will be stored into that attached memory drive. So end user, whoever is laptop is, they will not be able to even understand that what has happened. The dump is taken and it will be, and that was taking around 4 minutes for 256 GB of RAM. Just think of this speed, 4 minutes for 256 GB of RAM. That dump is taken and kept into the storage devices. Without any user interaction, just plug into the USB and you are gone. Done. Your memory dump is captured. Now where to keep or store your data? So from the safety perspective or your hard disk, you can do the encryption. Right? Encryption. If you forget the key, what will happen? You will have the backup of that key also, right? For example, in the day-to-day life, we are taking a lot of passwords. More than 20 passwords. Will you be able to remember everything? All the passwords and all the time? What you will do? You will save somewhere, you will write somewhere. Right? You will save somewhere or you will write somewhere. Or it will be in this synchronous manner. Password at 1, 2, 3. Tomorrow when you force me to change the password, I will change it to password at 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to what I will go. And that's where all these different practices have come into the picture, that password has to be this size, password has to be updated every 3 months, you can't use the password for continuous 5 times, old password you cannot use. Whenever you change your password, it will send you OTPs and then it will ensure that you are the only person who is changing the password. Right? Portable media. Portable media, we are all talking about the hard disk, right? What about your mobile device? We have a memory card. In latest phones, they have also removed the memory card. They don't have a support for the memory card too. Everything is stored in your phone. If your phone gone, your data gone. And that's why the data recovery shops are open across Bangalore. There are a lot of data recovery shops you will be able to find, where they will connect your device to their system and they will try to capture your data. And they will charge the data per GB. There is around 500 rupees per GB, that is the charge they are charging for. So think about that, you have generated the data, but you are not aware of the data when this device is gone. For that you have to pay. Why you need to pay? Because it's important data for you. Right? What about data stored into the people's mind? We are remembering a lot of things, right? We are remembering passwords, our phone number, friend's phone number, our Instagram ID, Facebook ID, bank account number, PAN card, Aadhaar number. All this we know, right? What can happen if somebody hacks your mind? That is possible. Hacking of mind is possible or not? Possible, right? How? Hypnotism, right? Have you heard about this word, hypnotism? Somebody hypnotizes you and asks you all this information. Your mind will easily go and tell all this information to whoever is hypnotizing you. So this is what will happen in future. So you have a hard disk, you have encrypted. I think that okay, I write an algorithm to decrypt your data. Why should I do that? I will find a hacker of 10 rupees, put it in your head, tell me your password. So data is gone. Right? Drug him, hit him with $5 rent until he tells the password. That is what is happening. So how we can secure the world? You can't secure your mind, right? That's the innovation opportunity. How you can secure all these kind of scenarios. Anybody knows about the this 4096 bit RSA and all algorithms. Which one is stronger? Which one is better? So these are the encryption algorithms and the bits through which you do the encryption, and that is what the data encryption used. Starting from 512 bits, 1024, 2096, 4096, 2048, sorry. So these are the bits through which your algorithm will go in and encrypt your data. The more number of bits, more stronger your encryption algorithm is. So another perspective is, what about the data center where your data is getting stored? Today everybody is using the cloud, AWS, Google Cloud, then you have Azure, and you are buying the storage spaces there. For example, if you are using your Apple device, you have the Apple Cloud. If you are using your Google device, you have a Google Drive, Google Photos. How you will ensure that your data that you are uploading there is secure? Do you have any list that what Google is doing to secure your data? You are just thinking that Google will secure my data. For backup purpose, I am pushing everything on the Google Cloud, they will take care of my data. That's a trust. So once is broken, what do you do? Not be able to go to the same person again for the similar kind of a thing. Because you know that this person has broken your trust. So in that test, Google, Azure, everyone has a mechanism through which you can encrypt your data with your key on their platform or with their data center. So even though in the cloud, what will happen? My data, your data, everything is residing into the same data store. Hard disk is same, but it is kind of a divided into multiple portions. And one portion is allocated to me, one portion is allocated to you. But it's as a backend operator or administrator of that particular cloud, I will be able to see everyone's data because I am the admin there. So how I can prevent is by encrypting by my key. So I will encrypt that particular portion of data using my encryption key. And that is what the feature that they are providing. You should explore that. So this is kind of what we are learning since last 3 days, generative AI. What it is. What is generative AI and what is AI? Any difference you know? Okay, that is also AI, right? What is generative AI? Generate the content of the learning. So earlier AI was kind of a learning. You keep on learning whatever the data that you have, you will process it and you will find some meaningful data out of it or meaningful information out of it. That was the AI. What is generative AI? While generating all this kind of information, it also learns together. So for example, if you are typing in your phone, as Anuj mentioned, right, it will give you the suggestions. If my name is not in the dictionary, it will suggest that okay, you keep on using this particular name. This is the name or not? This is what you want to type or not? That is what the generative AI is. It will keep on learning, at the same time it will keep on producing the information for you. You can see that generates the new content from the existing data. You have a data, it will keep on learning, and that's how the algorithm works. Should I go about it, all these points, or you know about it? Should we skip it? Huh? It's already explained, right? So you know, so I will skip that. I'll just talk about the challenges. What are the challenges that will come with the generative AI? First one is the ethical concerns. My data is there. I want that particular data not to be processed. How I can do that? There is no process or guidelines available as of now, which will ensure that you are supposed to only process the required data. Quality controls and the bias. What is bias here? The algorithm is created for specific data. So, for example, you have the health data available with you. You have financial data available with you. How you will be able to link these two data with each other? So that's where the developer or the algorithm developer's bias will come into the picture. How they are training that particular data. Correct? Quality controls. I will ensure the quality of this data generated. I will ensure the data is generated is actually correct data or not. In the ChatGPT, have you ever searched for prime numbers? I want you to do the experiment. Open up the ChatGPT. Ask the ChatGPT, is 3307 a prime number or not? Do that right away. Ask 33707 is a prime number or not? I just did that. Is 337 a prime number or not? It's not, right? Can you divide 3307 by what it says is it can be divided evenly by 7. Can you divide 3307 by 7 in your calculator? It will give you the decimal point, not the exact answer. How you can trust this? Actually 3307 is a prime number. Sorry? It is a prime number, right? But here you can see, right? I just typed it right in front of it. It says it is not a prime number. Every time when I do this exercise, it gives me the different answer. Today it says it is evenly divided by 7. Yesterday it was showing that it was evenly divided by 7, 9 and 11. So randomly I am getting the answer. How I can trust this platform? And that's where the quality controls come into the picture. Even if you tell that multiple times I got like this, I go ask ChatGPT to correct this. That was the option there. I need to be logged in for that. I can tell that this is not the right answer. So it will again go and do the calculation, and again it will say that it is not a prime number. I will go and tell again that okay, this is a prime number. It is divisible by, it is not divisible by any other number except one and the number itself. So after multiple iterations, it will tell that okay, it is a prime number. It is not still learning in the behind. Today also it gives that it's not a prime number. So that is where the quality control will come into the picture, where how your algorithm is built and how your algorithm is behaving. And we have to keep on learning, and that's where the generative AI will come into the picture. Any questions you have? Now, will you be able to trust ChatGPT for our project reports or any kind of a research? It is not able to it is not giving me the basic answer. How I can trust that it will give me all the answer correct? Right? So that's where the bias will come into the picture. You should think that okay, whether this is actually right or not. Correct? So that's what we call as a kind of a, in the older terms in the accounting, we used to do this kind of a, you have a debit and credit at the end, your debit and credit should match. That's what we should do here. That is called as a reconciliation or the revalidation of the whatever the answer that we got. So we talked about the ethical concerns. This is very interesting. How much data is available in the world? Zettabytes. 90% of the data is generated in last how many years? Since the AI and the Gen AI came into the picture and people started using it. And bulk of this data is yours. You don't know until something happens. Every day, this data is keep on increasing. There are a lot of algorithms available which will keep on generating the information. One of the interesting projects that I was working on, I was still doing the POC. I gave you the example earlier also regarding the Instagram. So what I will need as an input for my POC is just the email address and a phone number. I will have Facebook, I will have Instagram, I will have LinkedIn, wherever these portals are, my email address will be attached to it. I will try to keep on getting the information about you. What your likes are, on which reels you are putting your heart, on which Facebook post you are sharing it multiple times, where you are liking all these posts, how many times you are downloading that particular video. All this information will help me to give target you from this specific scenario. So, for example, you might have observed that whenever you are talking at your home about something that I wanted to go on trip to XYZ place, all of a sudden in the Facebook you will be able to see that recommendation about these places which I have discussed about. That means your phone is listening to you. Correct? How you can prevent all this? Is there a way to it or not? There is a way to it. One way is stop using a mobile phone. Or go to the older days where we were using just a basic phone which can be used for your self-defense also. Right? So, purpose of all these new technologies, how we can ensure that our data is with us in our control and it is secure. See, controlling is different thing, securing is different thing. Okay? Anyone knows about the SSDLC? Software, secure software development life cycle. As a part of the development, most of the organization follows this particular methodology, where in the different phases, they will do some kind of activity. So SSDLC, where you know about the waterfall model. What is waterfall model? Sorry? Little bit louder. Step. Correct. So it starts from education, where you teach people that this is how it works. Then you will go into the design phase, development phase, testing phase, deployment, and maintenance. So that is what is the SSDLC. Now, that was a waterfall model. Now, if you implement security, that becomes a secure software development lifecycle. So in the different phases, you will do different kind of activities. So from the education perspective, there will be a different kind of a training. So for example, we are doing this training. This is one of the education point of view. We are learning something here. What will happen in the design phase? So that is called as a threat modeling. Have you heard about the threat modeling word? Threat modeling. So threat modeling is to identify your entities and the activities and related security measures. So give you the example to make you understand better. For example, I have a login page. So there will be some kind of an actor. Actor is a user. There will be an activity where user is entering the password, username and password and clicking on submit. And in the backend it will get processed and you will get the response saying that whether you are authorized, authenticated or not authenticated. Okay, that's the process. Now what you will do with the threat modeling is, if somebody tempers his input, username, if somebody tempers password, if they don't go to the login page and directly try to access the home page. So all these different methodologies you will try to assess against your data flow diagram. Hope you know the data flow diagram. So threat model works on the data flow diagram. Once you create the data flow diagram, there are the different methodologies through which you can apply that controls in each of the actor, entity and activity. So those are the, there is a Microsoft provided threat modeling methodology which is called as a STRIDE. Just write it down. So this STRIDE represents different things. First one is spoofing. Do you know what spoofing is? Spoofing? Sorry? IP address spoofing you can do. Yeah. What other kind of a spoofing that you can do? Email spoofing. I will behave like a you. That is called as a spoofing. I got your username and password. I am logging in. That is spoofing. Next one is tampering. What is tampering? Modifying some data. Instead of username, which is requires only alphanumeric words, I am passing special characters. What will happen? That is one of the tampering methodology. Instead of password, I am passing the username. So in the username I am passing password, and in the password I am passing the username. Will application accept that or not? It all depends on your query, how you are writing your query. Database query, right? The next one is repudiation. What is repudiation or non-repudiation? Repudiation is system will tell that okay, this particular action is taken by Dhrubil only, nobody else. That is called as a non-repudiation. Tomorrow something happens and I go and tell that okay, I have not done this, but I will have some kind of evidence which is called as an audit logs or the audit trails, which will tell that okay, Dhrubil has logged in or tried this particular activity from so and so location at so and so time with these kind of parameters. That is called as a repudiation. The next one is information disclosure. What is information disclosure? Internal logging that you get, any specific information that you get. For example, by logging into banking application, you will not be able to see your full account number there. It will be masked. Your credit card statement will not have the entire full credit card number. It will be masked, right? So that is called as the information disclosure. In earlier days, we used to get the physical statement. On that physical statement, we used to see the full credit card number. If that statement goes into somebody's hands, they will have access to my credit card number. And only additional thing that need is the expiry date and year. If you have that, you will be able to perform a transaction. Have you observed that whenever you perform any international transaction versus transaction in India, have you observed any difference between these two transactions? Whenever I am using my card on any of the international transactions, it doesn't ask for any CVV or OTP. If I have a card number and the expiry date, transaction will go through. In India, you need to enter your CVV and then you will get the OTP. Until unless you don't enter the OTP, your transaction will not go through. Okay? So that's why the information disclosure is important. So in this entire workflow, the login, if I give the example, if the username is, in the response I will say the username is not correct, or I will say password is not correct. As an attacker, what I will be able to do from this particular response message or the information? It will say username is not correct, so I will be able to get that, okay, this particular user does not exist in the system. Let me try with a different username. If password is not correct, I will try with a different password. In the most of the portal that we see, we will just generate message, either your username or password is incorrect. Right? That is what the information disclosure kind of a mechanism will bring in, that restrictions. The next one is DOS. Have you heard about DOS? Denial of service. Denial of service is, I will ensure that you are not able to log into that particular portal as an attacker. So that's the thing. There is the policy availability part of it. So in security there are 3 pillars. Anybody knows about 3 pillars of security? 3 pillars. CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. So this is impacting the availability, DOS. I'll tell you one of the recent findings that I had. So we have a portal. On that particular portal, anybody can register and browse to that particular website. There is a feature which is called as an invite user. I can invite anybody, any user across the group. So I am inviting user, and then I have an option to delete that user also. So in deletion, instead of the registered user or invited user, I am putting up anybody else's email address whom I know. So using that particular vulnerability, what I was able to do is, if that particular exists in the system, that user will be prone to log. They will not be able to do anything further. So what I am doing is, I am making the DOS for him by repeating this particular step. Got it right? So I am an unknown user in the system, but if I know that, okay, I wanted to block my CEO in the company to log into this particular portal, I will write a script which will keep on going and deleting that particular user all the time. And that will become a DOS for that user. The last one is elevation of privilege. What is privilege? Privilege is permission, right? Anybody knows the difference between authentication and authorization? Correct. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. So elevation of privilege is mainly talking about the authorization part of it. Authentication is who am I to the system, and authorization is what I can do within the system. That's the main difference between authentication and authorization. So elevation of privileges, multiple kind of privilege that you can escalate. Horizontal, vertical, you can gain the additional privileges. If you are using the Linux system, you might be doing the sudo. What is sudo? Sudo is getting the root privilege. That is the elevation of the privilege from the current user. Right? So these are the stride methodology which talks about the threat detection. How I can detect the threats. There are multiple tools available, commercial as well as the open source, which can be used for the threat detection. One of the tools is Microsoft SDL threat modeling. That is one of the tools that you can use, and you can just provide the data diagram and it will come up and tell you the different threats associated with your application. The next one is anomaly detection. We'll take a break then. Okay. Sure. We'll take a break. Till that time, you can think about all this and I'll ask you. Okay. We'll break then. Thanks. What is useful for you? Hello. Should we start or your neighbors are still thinking? So just check your neighbors are there or not. If not, then we can ask them to come. Okay. So we were talking about the threat detection, right? So in that we talked about this spoofing, which is stride, spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, elevation of privilege, denial of service. Now, how we can implement the AI here as a part of the threat detection? So, initially, probably you may do the manual threat modeling and you have identified the threats. Over a period of time, what will happen is your design will change, your requirements will change, the customer requirement will change, your implementation may change, technology may change. So, based on that, how to identify the delta? And then applying that threat modeling on the delta changes only rather than doing the threat modeling for entire topic that we have to such as data. So that's why the AI will come into the picture, and there are a couple of tools from the commercial companies which are available which will do the ongoing repetitive threat modeling for your models. The next one is anomaly detection. What is anomaly? You have seen the example recently. What is anomaly? Prime number. Can I call it as anomaly detection? So accuracy, anomaly detection. I will be able to train my model such that it will go and identify these anomalies and ensure that my models always give the correct result. That's where the AI will come into the picture. What is synthetic data generation? Data generation. Why people need data? Testing. Main thing is testing. If I want to taste similar to production, what I will do is I will copy the production data into the test environment. Can I do that? Production data for testing. Can I use production data for testing or not? No. Right? That is strictly no no. You can't use any production data, and that's where the synthetic data will come into the picture. I can generate the data the way I want to do my testing, like performance testing, scale testing, security testing, penetration testing. Penetration, we call it as a penetration testing, but in the other word, we can call it as ethical hacking also. Generally, as a part of the corporate, we don't use ethical hacking. If we use that, people will be scammed. If I am talking to any development team and go and tell them that I am doing the ethical hacking on your application, they will not give single information. So I will go and tell that I am going to do the security testing, please provide me this data, and they will happily provide that. So that's why what kind of a word that you use with a different team, that is important. So for that synthetic data generation, I need to ensure that I have the relevant data available for my testing. Scale testing, performance testing, that is called as a release test, automated suite that you have. So every time you need to generate the new data for the testing to ensure that if the new customer comes in, how they will experience it. Then next one is automated security testing. How I can automate security testing? So there are terms below that: SAST, DAST, IAST. Have you heard about these terms? What is SAST? Sorry. Software as a service. No. That is SaaS. SaaS. This is SAST. This is called as a static code analysis. I have a code and I can do the analysis of code to identify the security vulnerabilities. What is DAST? Dynamic analysis security testing. That is called as DAST. That I can do on the runtime deployed application. I have a web application, I can run the DAST tools to achieve the security testing. What is IAST? Interactive. That will happen in the DAST also, right? Integrity. No. What is IAST? There is a different mechanism which is a combination of SAST and DAST. What it will do is, you have deployed application which is on some kind of a system or a server. You will take this memory snapshot of that particular system and do the analysis on top of that. That is called as a IAST. It is a kind of a new moving area in the security. So some of the vulnerabilities or the issues you will be able to identify as a part of SAST. Some you will be able to identify as part of DAST. And actual vulnerability. So whenever you are using any automated tools, you will get a lot of false positives. To overcome this false positive, people are coming with this IAST. Do you know anything about supply chain? What is supply chain? Have you heard about any supply chain attack in recent time? Supply chain, what it is? Multiple places, right? Almost a month ago or 1.5 months ago. Have you heard about Microsoft issue? Are you aware that people were not able to log in? Blue screen of death. People were seeing that. What was the issue? Was it a Microsoft issue or somebody else's issue? There was an issue from the CrowdStrike, who provides some kind of a sensors to the Microsoft devices for some kind of analysis. And that's when it broke. The CrowdStrike had an issue which impacted lakhs of Microsoft systems. And that issue was there for approximately around 3 to 4 days. People were not able to log in, people were not able to continue with their work. And some of the organization has given the holiday to the employees till the issue is getting resolved. That is one of the example of supply chain. And there is another term for the supply chain is the software composition analysis. So we all might be using the open source components. Lot of open source components, libraries. If you are using like Python, we might be using multiple libraries for our work. So from where these particular libraries are coming in, if any library has a vulnerability into that, how I can identify that vulnerability? Is there a way? So that's where software composition analysis will tell me. There is a term called SBOM, software bill of material. You might have heard of that, software bill of material. Even in the manufacturing industry, we used to have this software bill of material. In the recent launch of iPhone 16, have you heard about anything related to the software bill of material and the specific wafer is created by Apple? If your device is stolen or if your screen is gone and if you are going and bringing in other screen of the similar iOS device, iPhone 16 or any other device, that screen will not work. They have some kind of a configuration which is built into the chip which will go and find that whether this particular device is signed by Apple or not. And if it's signed, whether this particular device or the screen belongs to this particular device only or not. If you don't have, you will not be able to use that particular screen in your device. So only way is go to the Apple store, pay some money and get your new screen. And get your BIOS updated also to accept that particular screen in your device. This kind of a strategy working. Is it ethical, legal or not? Apple should do this or not? That question will come into mind. Right? They wanted to ensure, see, Apple says first priority is security of their customer. And that is what they wanted to bring in and by doing all this. Okay. Any question you have on this? You might have seen all this. Earlier started with FDP. We used to have the FDP data, then e-commerce came in, Web 2.0 came in, HTML5. HTML5 has heard about HTML5. That also came in. Social networks, cloud. So there is the evolution that happened over a period of time, and that will show you how the technology is improving. At the same time, your methodology for assessing data, assessing security risk will also change. In the earlier days, it was just a kind of a standalone application. You have a server, you have a client, and everything will go through. Nowadays, you have a lot of different things. You have an application, web application, you have a mobile application, you have APIs, then you have a backend component which is running in the cloud, somewhere in the Kubernetes cluster, in the containers. You will ensure that you have stability, reliability, extendability, all these different things that you need to take care as a part of the deployments. Earlier, you need to used to have only maintain one server. One server is gone, you are gone. Business is gone. Now, I will give you one of the scenario. For example, during the IPL you all know, right? Cricket matches. How many concurrent users are seeing that particular IPL at the same time? Any rough number you have in mind? Crores, right? Okay. Now, as a security chief of that particular platform, for example, Hotstar, I wanted to implement something which will impact the usability of the user. So, for example, as of now, what you used to do is open up the Hotstar and just go and see the match. It doesn't require the authentication. Now I wanted to bring in authentication from the security perspective. Will I be able to do that or not? How it will impact the users? Will it reduce the number of viewers for me and the platform or not? Right? At the same time, in the Hotstar, you have the limitation that you can't cast it to the other device. Have you observed that? Specific for the IPL matches, you will not be able to cast, but any other programs you will be able to cast. Why is it so? Hotstar want lot of people to install their application because they can get some revenue from the advertisements. They are providing the services free. They are not charging anything. What the revenue is only the advertisements. Right? So how, as a from the business perspective, I need to see that if I bring in the authentication, I will lose my revenue. So it's security versus usability. There is a trade-off. If I want to bring in security, I will lose the revenue. And none of the business will like to reduce their revenue. Right? And that's when all these evolution challenges will come for the CEO, CIO, CTO and all. What technology need to be used. Nowadays, in the any of the banking application that you take, you have a support. All time support available. You can just open up a chat, ask question and it will give the response. Correct? That is the basic help that you can get. How it is happening? There is a intelligence behind that. There is a artificial intelligence or a GenAI which is running behind that screen, which will give you that kind of knowledge of the information that you need. And it is available 24/7. For example, in the portal we call as a KR, Ask KR. There is a big pop-up you will be able to see on the application. By that pop-up you will not be able to see your account balance. You have to move that. So that's how we are marketing it. Have you seen this screen? Have you seen this screen or not? Ransomware. What is ransomware? And what is the purpose of ransomware? Ransomware will get deployed in your system, it will encrypt everything on your system. Until unless you don't pay some amount, they will not give the decryption key. And they will accept the payment only in the bitcoins. Why bitcoins? What is the purpose of bitcoin? No tracking, anonymous transactions. No one will be able to track me if I am paying the blocks or the bitcoins. So this is a clear example for the data security. If you have not backed up your data, you are gone. If you have backed up the data, you will be able to recover that and continue your business. Otherwise, you have to pay this ransom, get the decryption key, decrypt that data, and there is no guarantee that this particular data will not be used in the dark web. There is no surety in that. So how you can achieve the data security is more important. So you have regular backups. There are multiple types of backups possible, right? In the basic terminology. Incremental, one-time backup, full backup. So what kind of a backup that you are taking is important. We are going to talk about more on that recovery strategy and all. So we'll take a case study for the healthcare service provider. I want to think of you are a patient and visiting the hospital. What all the different kind of a data is there in the hospital? Can you help me to list out? Patient ID, patient names, gender, age, weight, all your health parameters. Then, sorry, is with what kind of a disease, then all your blood reports, prescriptions, medicine details, your family member details, in emergency whom should I contact, right? What else? Once you visit the hospital, most of the hospital will not have the network connectivity. So you connect to their Wi-Fi, right? So once you connect to their Wi-Fi, what will happen? It is free. There is no authentication or anything. It's open Wi-Fi that will be able to connect to. And while you are sitting in the queue, what you will do? You will browse through your mobile. How that data will go? Through a Wi-Fi of your hospital. What all data is going? They have your personal health data. Now they have your personal data too. How they are going to use this data? Do you know? They have the strategy for all this. So once you go to the doctor, they will have this prescription. Once you are coming out of the hospital, you will get the call from the pharmacy. The doctor has prescribed so medicine, you want it or not. Unnecessary calls you are getting, although you don't want that medicine from that particular store because you are not getting the discount. Right? If they share this data with somebody else, so for example, I visited one hospital, they were asked me for some kind of scans. Scan I don't want to do in that hospital. I will go to the other hospital for the scanning. So that hospital also will have all this data. They will have the linkages. Okay, this patient is coming from XYZ hospital for scanning to my hospital. What I can do? I can do the cross marketing and get the revenue. I will put up a banner outside that particular hospital, get this particular scan done at 20% discount. That's how I am dealing with the people's mind. And what is riding all this is your data. Right? So, in healthcare service provider, there are few compliance requirements. Like one of the compliance requirement is HIPAA. HIPAA compliance. So that will ensure that whatever the data that you are keeping for the patient or you are sharing with anybody else, you have to anonymize that data. Do you know what anonymize is? Anonymization. Basic term about it. So anonymization is, I will not be able to identify the individual using that particular data. So for example, hospital has my date of birth, name, phone number, email address. They will be able to identify using this information that this particular information belongs to XYZ person who will residing at this particular location. That is what the data is all about. Now if they do the anonymization, they will not be able to identify this particular data belongs to Dhrumil or somebody else. And that's why these AI tools will come into the picture. They will help to anonymize all this data and that will be used for further analysis. Nowadays in the healthcare sector also we have that artificial intelligence. By providing your reports, blood reports or scans and everything, they will be able to predict that okay, you are likely to have XYZ disease. Because they have trained that particular multiple patients' data and did this analysis and they will come to the conclusion. And also it's kind of a business for the doctors also. I don't want to do something else, but that is the kind of a business for them. Nowadays, what happens is once you visit the doctor, they will say, okay, I will not do the diagnosis, first go and take this particular report. Now, although doctor knows that these are the basic symptoms of viral infection, they will still ask you to go and do all this analysis of the reports. They will not come to the conclusion immediately. They want a repetitive business. So business is aligned with your what kind of a data that you are getting and money. Okay. What else? What all other kind of data that is getting generated from this hospital? We talked about the patient data. What else? Any pharmacy. Then appointments. Appointments eventually will lead to a patient's data. Pharmacy also will lead to a patient's data. What about parking? You are doing there. Car numbers. You are doing some paying some fees. Then there is a valet parking. In valet parking, we will register something. Right? There is also information about you. How you can secure that process. Okay. What other thing that can happen within the premises, which takes your information or data? Within the premises. We talked about the appointment, doctor's visit, pharmacy, parking, anything else that you can think of. Which also brings in the revenue for them. The bigger hospitals, they have that kind of a facility available. Insurance is one. Health insurance is one. What else? Specifically, if you have kids along with you, what they have? They have some kind of a place only here. Have you observed that? Canteen is there. Play zone area. Have you observed anywhere in the hospital where you can keep your kid and go for the doctor appointment and take your kid back once the appointment is done? There also they will take your name, number, and your hospital ID or the patient ID. That is also information. Another scenario, after you come from the hospital, what will happen at your home? What kind of a data is getting generated? Think of a house and a kid that is sitting at the house. From hospital you will come and you talk to your family and this is what is happened, this is what is happened. Walls also have a ears. So your confidential information, for example, I am diagnosed with some critical disease, I don't want to share it with anyone. But by listening to my discussion, my neighborhood or somebody besides me will be able to get the details. Okay. So all these different aspects need to be taken care whenever we are providing any data. Okay. Any question? Now think of if I put in the artificial intelligence on this particular data that is getting generated. What are things that I can do? As a hospital, can I sell this data to somebody for the marketing purpose? Yes, no. They are not taking any approval from us. So in European country, I talked about the GDPR earlier, right? What I talked is, my data should reside in European region. Another thing they have as a part of the GDPR is, they can't store my data until and unless I don't approve it. I need to provide the notification or the approval that you are supposed to take my data and store it for your purpose. Another law that they have is, whenever I want, I can go there and tell them that okay, delete my data. So they should have the feature which will delete all my data from their systems. So GDPR is stringent and any business who is doing the trades in European region, are having a very big time. The next one is data security and operations. What is security operations? You know, SOC team, have you heard about? Security Operations Center, SOC team. You will keep on monitoring the data, keep on monitoring your environment, network, request, outgoing request, incoming request, everything will be monitored. That is what the purpose of the Security Operations Center. Incident and response. You might have heard about this word. Incident and response. What is incident? Incident. Any unknown event. That is called as an incident. Accident is incident. Right? So, in such scenario, how you can take the provide the response. So if you think about the IT system, something happens to your system, how you are responding to that. So nowadays, there are multiple scenarios like IDP, IDS, which will help you to prevent your network and the environment, and it will provide the response. Have you heard about the web application firewall or firewalls? Firewalls, right? So one of the area is web application firewall. So web application firewall, what it will do is it will identify the payload, security or the attack payloads, and it will stop that particular request there itself. It will not even reach to my backend server. And that's why the CI will come into the picture by looking into all these different packets which is coming into my network. It will be able to stop that and respond to them. And that's how the incident and response will work. Support services. What is support service? I am a bank customer and I am calling the support team. What they will ask for? What is the issue? Before going into the issue, they will ask for multiple things. Identify yourself, who you are. Although you are calling for your registered mobile number, they will ask what is your mobile number, what is your account number, what is your card number, and then they will be able to help you further. They will not even give a single response for your query, then okay, what you are facing with. That is what the support services. Now, as a support assistant, I will have the data of all these users, whoever is calling into customer service center. Can I get that information and sell it as a support assistant? That is one of the scenarios. What else I can do then? I can find anybody's data or not. You can find anybody's data. You can just pass in the random account number and you will get the details. And that's where they have implemented this OTP based customer verification. You know that? OTP based customer verification, where OTP will come in during the support call. You have to enter that OTP. And after that OTP, that support assistants will only have access to your account. You will not be able to browse to anybody's account. That's the security is implemented there. So there is a pro, there is a con. So we have to balance it out. The next one is chatbot and IVR. We talked about chatbot first. The support chat that is there in the application, you will be able to get multiple responses and all. Okay. Now, I want you to think one of the scenario. Most of the banking application that you have, you will be able to log in to a QR code. So in your mobile, open up a mobile application, there is an option where you can scan the QR code. In the web browser, you can open up an internet banking website. There, QR code will come in. If you scan that QR code, you are logged in the browser. You have seen that, right? How it is implemented and what is the flaws in that? Any flaws that you think of? Can I share that QR code with somebody else? There is a validity of the QR code. Time. that QR code will be valid only for few hours or few minutes. Then from the mobile application that I have opened up, did that application did the authentication or not? There will be a Face ID. Face ID gets stored into where? On your device. In majority of the application, you can enable the Face ID, right? To open that application, you will be asked for the Face ID. And Face ID, if you get it accepted, you will be able to continue from there. In all these applications, there is a toggle button. Log in with Face ID. Okay. When you enable that, they are not even asking for your username and password. They are already authenticated. Enable that using the Face ID. The authentication happens. How an entire scenario is carried out. Think about it. What are the consequences using this particular flow? Can I do any mischief between this entire workflow? Can I get any other account details? Then next one is adaptive and proactive security alerts. What is security alert? Whenever you go to your Google and try to log in from the different browser or the different location, what it will ask for? It will ask you to authenticate again, or they will send a notification on an existing device and then ask for you to approve that. Okay. So what about the alerts? How do we get the alerts? At the same time, you will get the notification in your email that somebody is trying to log in from XYZ location at so and so time. Along with that, you will have the feature which will tell you that active sessions. How many active sessions are there for that user? For example, WhatsApp web. You log into WhatsApp web, and then if you go to the WhatsApp and see the current active sessions, you will be able to list down all the sessions which are active on your web. You might have logged in from the multiple browsers, Firefox, Safari, or Chrome. All three sessions will be listed over there. So, in that scenario, if something goes wrong, you should be getting the alert. And that's when the SOC team, for example, from the server perspective, I'm talking about wherever I'm storing my data or the Google Drive or somewhere, there is a SOC team from the Google, they will keep on getting the alerts saying that this is kind of a attack is happening, multiple, this kind of similar request is coming from multiple locations and all. Integration in SOC Security Operations Center, we talked about fraudulent activities, frauds. How we can identify frauds? Huh? Past security patterns. What else you can do that? We have the activity. Do that. So this is the kind of there is a song, right? Same but different. Have you heard that? So this is what is same but different. So firewall will be able to prevent phishing attacks. Then you have IDS, IPS, that is a frag router. Have you heard of frag router? There is a tool, frag router, which can bypass the IDS and IPS. Then you have antivirus. How you can bypass antivirus? By obfuscation. What is obfuscation? Have you heard about the obfuscation? Have you ever read the jQuery.js? jQuery.js file. Try to read it once. You will not be able to get anything. It will be always ABCD XYZ. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no logic. You will not be able to trace that out. That is called as obfuscation. You are obfuscating your code such that it will not be easily readable by any of the tools. And that's where the obfuscation will be able to bypass the antivirus protection that is needed. Then web application firewall, I talked about. It will be able to identify the patterns and it will block that particular traffic. How I can bypass that? By doing the character encoding, which web will not understand. Right? DLP EPS. Have you heard about this term? DLP EPS, data leak prevention, endpoint security. Data leak prevention, have you heard? If you are working in the corporate environment, there will be a firewall. EPS, what EPS by? EPS is an endpoint protection. Data leak prevention. So, as a corporate, I am using a ChatGPT to write a code. I'll tell them, okay, I wanted to find a prime number, give me the Python code. So, ChatGPT will write a code, I can copy and paste it. Similarly, if I am getting some kind of an error in the program, what I will do is I copy my code into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT saying that please find a problem for this code. What happens here? My proprietary corporate code is available with ChatGPT. Okay? So in that scenario, this DLP EPS will be able to prevent those kind of a data leakage. And there is a DNS XP, is kind of a tool which will be able to bypass all this prevention that you may have in place. DEP ASLR, have you heard about this? Address distribution something. ASLR, DEP, information leakage. DEP is mainly on your devices. Data encryption prevention, DEP. So, by default in your laptop, you can have a feature through which you will be able to encrypt your hard drive. Recently, I have seen in one of my Windows systems that I have at home, I am trying to enhance the security by applying the security patches available every Tuesday by Microsoft. Have you noticed that every Tuesday we get the patches from Microsoft? That is Tuesday patches they call. I was trying to update from X version to X version, Y version. What I got is you don't have enough space on your system. So what I did is I just redirected that download into another drive that I have created. Message that I got is OS cannot read data on this particular drive because it is encrypted. So that is what is the encryption methodology that you can apply in your system to prevent the data to read by OS or any other software. Sandbox, jailbreak, you heard jailbreak. Others also talked about. I can jailbreak the device to get access to core file of this mobile device. Sandbox is application can run only in the designated environment created by for that application. That is called as a sandboxing. I am overriding that sandboxing by jailbreaking. So that application will be able to access anything on my mobile. Jailbreak is nothing but overriding a security implementation on your device. So whenever, for example, if you are an Android phone or iPhone, whenever you try to do jailbreak, your warranty expires at the same moment. Threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is a common word, right? From the defense side of it. You will keep on getting different kind of a threat intelligence. Something is going to happen at XYZ at so and so time, and flight will not take off. Similar kind of thing can be hidden in the plain sight. Okay, next is a case study. Fraud detection in the financial sector. How I can detect the fraud using the technique that we have. We have discussed so far, right? Multiple different kind of techniques. What are things that I can put it here, which will help me identifying the frauds for the financial. What is fraud? First of all, what is fraud? mimicking somebody to gain something, some advantage from them. That is called as a fraud. And in this scenario, it is mainly a financial benefit, financial gain that you get. Have you heard about all this Paytm, Google Pay frauds happening day in, day out? Somebody will call my father saying that your son is in a critical situation, we need this much amount, please transfer this much amount urgently. Being the old age, he will not understand that what is exactly happened. And if they will transfer and their money is gone. How I can identify all those kind of frauds? Is there a way from the banking side of it? The thing I am and I wanted to prevent all these kind of frauds. What are things that I can do to prevent? Most of the banks have a budget for frauds. Do you know that? And that budget for few banks is 30% of their overall capex. 30%. The charges or the cost for implementing the fraud detection is 10%, but still they have the 30% of budget for all these kind of frauds. To suggest you what are things that we can do to prevent the fraud. One I will tell OTP based mechanism. Implement multi-factor authentication for any transaction. What else I can do? I can find anomalies. Today I am logging in from Bangalore from Vivekananda Institute. After half an hour I am logging in from HL. Will that give the bank notification saying that this user is doing something malicious? So for example, here to reach HL it takes around 2 hours, but I am doing that just in half an hour. How it's possible? Will bank will be able to raise that as a flag that something wrong is happening? How do we be able to achieve that? By doing the incident or fraud detection mechanisms implemented as a part of the system or the user context implementation. What else you can do? I am using mobile application from Vivekananda Institute, but I am using the web browser from Dubai. Can I do that? Or not? So there are multiple entry points that we need to identify how a person can log in and use the application or the system. And based on that, you will be able to do that. In some of the scenarios, I think that is with the Facebook or Instagram, I'm not sure, but if you try to log in from the multiple devices, it will not allow. So if you log into one device, automatically it will force to log on to the other device. So that is the security prevention that they have implemented. You will be also getting the notification with the email that you are are you only trying to log in on this particular device or not? If yes, click yes. If no, please report this to a support team. Something like that you are getting. So that's kind of an implementation this current industry have. What else you can do to prevent the fraud? If I can walk in the bank, can I do something? Can I force your sign? Or I can get the print of your sign? So an interesting scenario or the observation that I have is most of us are keeping the credit card and the debit cards in the wallets. Right? In that, whenever you put the wallet card inside, there is a embossed credit card number on top of that on the card. Over a period of time, due to pressure, that particular number is imposed in your wallet also. So when you change your wallet, that number is gone to somebody else in the dustbin or garbage. Right? So what you can do? Stop using it. No. Another interesting point that we bring in is RFID. What is RFID? Without swiping the card, you can do the transaction. Okay? Touchless transaction. What is the transaction limit for that? 5,000 is maximum. Can you configure that or not? To a lower amount. 2,000, 5,000, or 3,000, something like that. Can you reduce that? That feature is available in your bank or not? Can you disable that RFID? Yes. You can disable. So these are the options that bank is giving you to prevent such kind of misuse. If you are having the multiple cards in your wallet and all is enabled with the RFID, if you go near to RFID, what will happen? Which card will be taken? Frequencies are multiple. So will the transaction happen on all the cards? Only one card, or it will not happen at all. Any card it will take and transaction is performed, right? Nearest card. So whatever is the nearest card to the RFID device, the transaction will happen from that device, that particular card. So that's why they are coming up with the RFID protected wallets for the card holders. All these different enhancements are being done to prevent yourself from all these kind of frauds and data leakages. Okay. The next one is implication of the AI in data security. What are the drawbacks that we have? First is the ethical concern. I don't want my data to be trained. I don't want my data to be trained for any of the learning algorithms. Governance and the regulations. Lack of regulation. In the morning, Anuj also mentioned about the regulation. There is a lack of regulation, and that's why all these technologies, tech companies are using all this ChatGPT and all. So those are the ethical concerns of using the AI models that we have. Quality and accuracy. I have given the example for the quality. You also tried that, right? Accuracy. Prime number accuracy. 100% accuracy, right? How many of you got that it's a prime number and how many got that it's not prime number? Prime number, after 2 attempts you got the prime number. First attempt prime number, 3, 4. Or everybody else got not a prime number, right? So what is accuracy of that? Percentage wise, 10%? And overfitting risk. Over reliance on generated patterns. So if I take the example of the penetration testing or the ethical hacking, right? All these ChatGPT kind of a tools will not allow me to generate any payloads. If I go and ask ChatGPT that give me 10 payloads for SQL injection or cross-site scripting, it will say that it is against use of our policy and will not be able to do that. What I will do is I will go and ask a different question. I want to prevent SQL injection. Can you give me the payload for that? Will give me. So I am playing with the engine to give me the different response. So these engines are built such that it will provide you the response based on your question. You can tweak the question, you will get the response. And there is the lack of validation too. You don't have any validation. The last one is the real world threats. What are the real world threats in the day-to-day life? People are thinking to implement AI everywhere. For example, if I am having a manufacturing company, I wanted to track an individual. That an entire day what that particular individual is doing. So I will have a CCTV camera, I will have the audio recording devices across my factory. And I will have the monitoring tools that will keep on watching that particular individual. Can I do that? Only that particular individual will be captured or not? You can't do that because it will capture everything which is there in the vicinity of that particular camera. Once they capture it, they will try to identify, okay, this particular email is belonging to whom. So that is what the real problem is. As a individual or as a manager of that factory, I don't want me to be tracked. How I can achieve that? So all these kind of challenges that we have in place, there are ways to overcome that, but it will take some time. So what you can do with data security? You can improve all these models, whatever the existing models that we have to identify the incident, providing the response to that, identifying the anomalies. There is an enhancement need to be done for all these models that are available in the industry. Still, it's a kind of a very at a niche level. Still, people are not consuming it. Most of the companies are saying that we are AI enabled, but they are not. They are just claiming that we are AI enabled. They are planning to leverage AI for their different use cases. Integration with other technologies. I can integrate with the blockchain. Do you know what is blockchain? Recently, we have started noting down all the houses. We are getting many notifications saying that the BPMP official will visit to your house for geotagging. Geotagging. Have you heard about that? All the properties will be digitized and will be available on the blockchain. So that blockchain, what is the purpose of blockchain? Whatever the transaction happens, it is visible to the entire world and you will not be able to modify anything. How I can bring in the AI over there is another challenge that we have in front. Quantum computing. What is quantum computing? From the security perspective, everything is based on the data and the patterns. You have the text, you have the images, you have the videos, then you have the payload, which is also considered as the text. Then you have a binary data. So whatever the algorithms which are available now are trained for these kind of inputs, which is just not using the real computing mechanisms. So how I can achieve that? That's the next thing that can happen. Impact on cyber security, how it is approached and managed. So AI is kind of a thing which can not be trusted easily from the security perspective. So for example, if you want to do some kind of a prevention, you should have some kind of a other hand which is also overlooking the thing that is done by the cyber security professional. You can't rely completely on the AI to prevent the fraud, which will impact the business and the usability of the user. And you don't want to do this. And that's why it has the impact on the cyber security in the context of different kind of a prevention mechanisms. Okay, that's it for the session. Any questions that you may have, feel free to ask. Any use case you want to discuss or any scenario that you want to discuss or whatever is in your mind, you can ask them. Not all the security, but the portion of the security there are tools available, which is a kind of a commercial tool, not the open source tools. You need to purchase that. It is not a SaaS platform or where you can just upload and do something. But there are companies which is coming up with this kind of a mechanism. There is one of the tool called this. I can show you that what it will show. Is the recording going on or we can stop that?
It's going on. Shall I stop?
If you can stop that, it will be better because it is a kind of a live data that I am going to do.